Good afternoon, everybody. We have a bright sunny day here in Alabama. Warm temperatures, but we're going to be cool again here in a few days. I thought I'd come on and give a quick update. We've just been dealing with life here. Jan's doing wonderful. She's still getting her strength back from her chemotherapy. She has a little fuzz growing on top of her head. She looks cute as a bug. She's accepted a wonderful job with a great hospital. She's very happy. It was the job she was looking for, and I couldn't be more proud of her. She starts it as soon as she finishes up her radiation treatment. She is 3 days into a 6-week radiation treatment, so she has that to get through. We've been dealing with that, and some of my older viewers might remember Jan's mother went by the name of Boots. We had been dealing with Alzheimer's, and she passed away a week and a half ago or 2 weeks ago, and that has been taking up a lot of time as well. Alzheimer took Boots away from us years ago, but she didn't get called home until just a couple of weeks ago. And even though there was some relief there, it's also should be truly missed. But she went peacefully, sleeping with loved ones holding her hand. So very blessed, very blessed. Anyway. Lots and lots of blooms. The blooms are the same ones, like I said, you probably have seen. Might be a few extra new ones here, but now the clusters are fully open. The plants are really looking beautiful. I need to start showing growths too because I've got a lot of growth. Before I do that, one of the questions I wanted to answer real quick is about these shelves and my lighting. I get so many questions about this lighting. These are inexpensive shelves from Lowe's. They're 4 feet wide, 6 feet tall, and about 18 inches deep. I don't have any lights on this shelf. That's in front of the south-facing window. It gets a lot of light through that window, a lot of intense light. The sun is low in the sky this time of year and comes right through those windows direct, so it gets a lot of direct light, like a greenhouse type light. This shelf, I do have supplemental lighting on. They're fluorescent fixtures. They're T8 fixtures. These are cheap, inexpensive shop lights, what you put over your workbench. They're 4 feet long, and they have 4 bulbs in each one. The light bulbs are 6500K light bulbs. The K stands for Kelvin. Now, Kelvin, and I'm not an electrical engineer or lighting engineer, I'm just going to give you my take. Kelvin is the spectrum or the intensity of the light. 3500K, you can look on your light bulb on the end of it, and it'll tell you 3500K or 6500K or 4500K. You'll see stuff like that. 3500K is like a very overcast, dreary kind of winter day. 6500K is a very bright sunny day, if that makes sense. The higher the number, the more intense the light. Now, even though these are intense light bulbs, and there's 4 in each one, this is not as intense as what's coming naturally through the window. There's 2 things to keep in mind when you add supplemental lighting to your plants. And there's nothing wrong with adding supplemental light to your plants. Nothing at all. They'll benefit from it, without a doubt. But you don't want to increase, there's 2 things. You don't want to increase the intensity. You don't want to have lighting over your plants that's more intense than they're getting naturally from the sun or through windows in your environment. All right? The second thing you don't want to do, and this is more important than increasing the intensity, is you don't want to increase the duration or the length of light that you're giving your plants than what is naturally coming through the windows or is in your environment through in that room. For example, when I get up in the morning, I don't turn these lights on until it's already light outside. And in the evening, I turn these light fixtures off. I click them off before it gets completely dark outside. I don't want to give these plants extra light length at all. If I do that, I can affect their hormones. Remember, I've spoke about this so many times, and this is a point that I think gets missed by so many people and doesn't get talked about enough. Hormones. Hormones are what control a plant. Hormones tell the plant to bloom or to grow. So hormones are triggered by temperature and light. And now we're talking about light right now. By increasing the day length or by increasing the intensity of light, I can trigger those hormones at the wrong time of year and cause these plants to fall out of cycle. You don't want to do that. Right now my plants are blooming because they're following the natural daylight. They're following the natural cycle. Last year I put them in that grow room that I built in that welding room, remember? I had those real intense lights. I had timers on to give them, longer day length and stuff. I was really pushing the plants, but I was trying to get them to grow. I wasn't concerned about blooms. They were not that healthy of plants, and they were all very immature anyway. I was more concerned with getting some size on them and getting them healthy. So I put them in that situation intentionally. Adding that extra light and that stronger light encouraged them to grow. Now I don't want them doing that right now. If I give them too intense of light, put too high a wattage of light over them, and for a longer length of time, it'll trigger the hormones in these plants, and I'll drop blooms, they'll eat their spikes, and they'll start growing immediately. And that might be fine if that's what you want to do, but that may not be what you want to do. Today's February 5th. That may not be what you want to do the 1st of February in your environment, depending on where you live. You may not want that because of the conditions you're under right now. You may not want a lot of growth going on. So keep that in mind. I want these plants to stay on their natural cycle. That's why I let them come inside into the sunroom this year instead of putting them in the grow room, because I want them to fall back on their natural cycle. The winter bloomers are blooming now, and a lot of the Phalaenopsis, these are not so much triggered by light as they are temperature. Phalaenopsis are a little bit different. They're more triggered by temperature than light. But a lot of the Cattleyas and Oncidiums and things like that all are photosensitive. And if we take them out of that natural cycle, natural rhythm that they're getting from the lighting around them, it can disrupt their bloom cycle and their growth cycle that's getting ready to start on them too. So that's two things to keep in mind. There's nothing wrong with adding additional light, but just don't get crazy with it. Be very, very cautious. Make sure your light fixtures are far enough away from your plants and not give them too intense a light, and make sure that you're not giving them too much light for too long of length. Match what you have going on in your natural conditions, or you can trigger some bad stuff in your plants. You can lose a cycle, and it may take up to a year to sometimes get those plants back on normal bloom cycle. So just be careful with it. Keep that in mind. So many blooms, just so many blooms. Hopefully the bright light won't blind us here. That's a little mottled one that's just blooming. It's a little hard out. Beautiful little plant. Now this little mounted one is just such a pretty mount, and such a beautiful bloom too. Even the white ones, I love them. I love them. So many details. That is a second SLC Jamie Hollingsworth I have. I have two of those. That's one of them that's blooming. Gorgeous blooms on these guys. I really, really like this plant. These were bag babies. This pretty little mount has, all the Phalaenopsis that are mounted have done really, really well. This is a little Doritonopsis. What a pretty one. Beautiful cluster. This is the kaleidoscope, that big one in the basket right here. Just so much detail. What a beautiful, beautiful flower. And such big flowers too. They're just big, big flowers. So much detail though. Little yellow one opening up. This one has several flower spikes on it. New flower spikes, and it kept the old one and it's branched them back off, blooming. Such a pretty one. Another little pretty one. It's just opening up. I love these little phals that just pop open like that. And they have such gorgeous little displays. There's another little beauty, little mini one with two beautiful clusters of really beautiful purple flowers. Again, that beautiful little throat in there, those details. This is that little one that has been mounted so many times, and God bless it, it's blooming. Beautiful bloom too. I can understand why I purchased it now. I'm doing what I can to get some root growth, but it is doing better. This little mini is just such a good little bloomer. Look at the gorgeous clusters these guys are putting out. Beautiful, beautiful. There's another one of those really pretty. I love the wood mounts. They really have done well. This one's opened up. It has two spikes, and it is finally opened up. Really pretty yellow with a real pretty throat. Another big phal down here, just one of those big loud ones, big display, blooms, couple of spikes. This really pretty red one, this is called Surf Song, Phalaenopsis Surf Song. A really pretty one. Trying to hold everybody still today, not move too fast. They're just blooming like crazy. Mary's BLC, Mary's Glory is still blooming. Beautiful plant, just a beautiful plant, really fragrant. Big burgundy dendrobium is still blooming too. All the dendrobiums I need to dig out, they all have new canes and new shoots all of a sudden started coming out. They all like triggered at the same time, but I got new shoots popping out on probably most of them. Oh man, all the blooms here. That little foundus blooms its heart out too. Gorgeous little buds. Look at the size of the clusters. Really, really happy with that. Lots of nitrogen these guys are getting. This is another, I think this is another little Dorydenopsis. Has 3 spikes on it. Look at the display. Such a big clusters. Beautiful, beautiful flowers. One of my favorites, all-time favorites, is this, let me tilt that window just a hair for us here. Hang on. This is the little mottled fell I have. Let me get some light. There we go. Hopefully that's focused. It put out 2 spikes, and they both opened up, and the fragrance is just incredible on them. But such a display and such a big bouquet of flowers, and such a beautiful flower too. Just a really beautiful pink with that little speckled throat, yellow details. Just a beautiful bloom. Really, really happy. I'm going to concentrate on the leaves on these guys this year and see if I can't get these to stack up a little better. This is the other big SLC I have. It's blooming just great, and all the blossoms have finally opened. Really pretty plant. This is really, I mean, it has bloomed before, but nothing like this. So this is really, it's kind of its first true bloom, in my opinion, and it can only get better. It's a vigorous grower, and I'm really excited to get this one outside this year and get some growth on it. Really beautiful, beautiful flower. Just beautiful flowers. I know it's just a little fowl back there blooming too. The big white one is blooming like crazy. It's just covered in blooms. Just covered in blooms. Doing well, doing well. Loving the sunshine. The big yellow one blooming like crazy. Just gorgeous blooms. Another little mini blooming like crazy up here. There's another one of those little, excuse me, mottled fowls. Beautiful scented blooms on these guys. Such pretty displays too, really pretty displays. This little one with the keikis has got several spikes coming out, and just started opening up. And a really pretty little bloom on it too. Another little mini just blooming, these big clusters. They just bloom their little hearts out. Incredible, incredible. There's another one with big double clusters. This one has a big double spike on it. Beautiful. Epicats are so big. These are about 35, 36 inches tall, 3 feet tall, big, big spikes. They just keep putting out flower spikes, keep blooming. They have a real light, nice fragrance. They're a really pretty plant, but they are big plants, big, big plants. Both these are going to need repotting. They're in 6-inch pots, and I've way outgrown them. But anyway, just a quick update. Hope it wasn't too jerky and twitchy, but they're doing wonderful. They're growing and growing and just doing great. Thank you for all the kind words, all those great questions, all the thoughts, all the prayers. It means the world to Jane and I. We truly, truly, from the bottom of our hearts, thank everybody. I noticed the other day that I had over 8,000 subscribers, and I got to be honest. I got to tell you, I'm humbled, truly humbled, to think there's 8,000 people, you know, interested in what's going on here. But you know, one of the very best things, and I get this comment all the time, one of the very best things about this channel, I think, and I agree 100%, is the comments. There's so much information in the comments. There's so much input from other people, and so many great questions get answered in these comments. And to me, that's the best part of this channel. Not the shaky jerky videos and showing the plants, but the growing information that I think gets shared around and shared around. So please share the information, share the videos. You know, I'm not one of those people to come on and tell people to subscribe. I don't do that. I don't play the YouTube game really. I'm grateful for everybody who asks questions. I'm grateful for everybody who watches, and I'm just just grateful, period, for being blessed to have so many friends. So from Alabama, lots of love, and thanks, everybody. I really, really appreciate it, and have a great day. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.